Hey, gang. Oh man, it's Thursday. Thursday, right? That's correct. I think so. All my days run together. Every day is an embarrassment of riches. They all run together. It's fine. Let me boop. Let me click that. Let me click these. I have a lot of buttons. Let me click that one. That's the one. Okay. So we are continuing on from our Varia stream yesterday. We got to a really good spot. What we're gonna do today, we're gonna hop right in. We're gonna just render. We're gonna bring up some more reference, things for like Dagon's head, dragon head. Got some notes from my art director Anthony last night, and he has an amazing idea. And whenever I read it, it's why I love having art directors and other kind of passionate people to look and make sure that the art, you know, of course sticks with the motif that we're going for, but also another set of eyes is always good because they're going to notice something that you maybe don't put enough weight into, which is kind of what we ran into last night, to where I'm just working away and stuff, and then Anthony had this aha moment where he looked at something and he was like, let's embrace what's going on right here. And whenever I saw it in that way and the way he explained it, I was like, of course, like that's the answer. Like, we were worried about composition, we were worried about how is this going to read, and if I can execute on this idea, that should solve that issue. So it's always a lot of fun to kind of get in the weeds and figure it out, and that's my favorite part, really. Like, painting's a lot of fun. I love the finished product. I love when my client is happy, but really I like the creation of the image. Like, what story were we telling, you know, what's going on with that, and this one has a lot of that. So we're gonna harken back here, kind of doing the standard, since we're going to be rendering, I'm doing more of the full screen look this time. Just to, you know, so we can really zoom in, dig in, and start figuring this stuff out. Overall, this is what we have so far. The glass shatter effect. We can kind of manipulate what we have here. But something that Anthony brought up that he really liked, and we talked about it a little bit, but you see these areas to where the compositions kind of go, I don't know why Photoshop's acting all weird right now. I might have to restart it, but where you can see like the arm come out of the glass and like brings the two pieces of glass together. It's almost like a bridge, right? Same thing for, and I didn't even really see it, but he pointed out that the one of Dagon's heads right here, because you have, you know, I just thought, oh, I might have to just make these more of a, you know, put the black going through the head and stuff to make sure that the glass is shattered. But I think what really struck Anthony, and now that I look at it, it makes total sense. Let's have this head coming out of the glass, the same way the child's arm comes out of the glass. Let's have this come out of the glass. We did a little bit of like blood coming from the beheaded dragon head, coming out of the glass, kind of going into the ether of whatever this is. We could even do this with the axe. I think having this side of the axe come off, so it looks like our hero or whoever's beheading Dagon is jumping out of the composition. So whenever I first heard the idea of this card, I'm crazy, so I have crazy ideas. I thought it would be cool if we could break the fourth wall. Because whenever I think about the structure of a card game, the timeline, especially Varia, works off of the timeline. So something that scrambles up that timeline, in my mind, that breaks the fourth wall. It's like whenever the actor looks through the screen and winks at you, you know, like we're acknowledging, we're breaking the rules of, and it's funny, professional wrestling has its own realism. Like the realism of whatever story they're trying to tell, and that's called kayfabe. And then whenever someone breaks that storytelling, like if two guys are mad at each other but they're actually best friends in real life, so you see them like grab a burger or something after the show, that breaks kayfabe. So basically here we're breaking kayfabe. We are we're breaking the art out of the card of what the card is supposed to be. And I like that idea. I like there's a different energy there because we're acknowledging to the player that you're about to cause a lot of chaos on the board. So let's have the art come over what the composition is and what you think the standard image should be. Let's have the art literally come off. So the way we're going to embrace that, we're actually going to add stuff like drop shadows just to this part of the head to separate it, almost make it the foreground like a 3D movie popping out at you, while the rest of it is in the shattered glass here in the background. You know what I mean? So very cool idea. I have a few ideas on how to really make it work and how to make it pop. So what we're doing is now we're going to make this head, Dagon's head, very detailed. Our person and the axe very detailed. This Dagon head very detailed. But I like it kind of disappearing into the shattered glass. We'll play with that a little bit. We are going to definitely render more of the child and the wizard because he kind of gets lost. There's so much glass stuff happening. It's hard to tell that this is the wizard, the sorcerer. So we're gonna kind of refine that and figure that one out. And then we're gonna really have fun and get grimy and filthy and dirty with Koro and make him look like a blood god, like a demon, it's gonna be really neat. I'm excited about that. Because I've been wanting to do more gothic art anyway. And I think Koro's a perfect place to like test that out. So, but we're just gonna file away, man. We're just gonna get it going. Yeah, before I do this, let me add a little something. Let me add an image. I'm gonna add let me add a new source. And then let me come over here. I'm gonna add this. It's gonna be really big, but we're gonna resize it. Yeah, there we go. Done. We're gonna resize the old transparent Varia logo. Look at that. Crazy. Crazy. Where do we want this? Yeah, we can put it right there. That's good, right? Let's make it a little smaller. There we go. Something like that. There we go. Cool. All right. So let's take a look-see. Oh, first thing I need to do. It's funny, I did a study last night, a portrait study. So here was the reference, and then I came in and did a little something. So nothing too crazy, just, you know, always trying to stay sharp, test out different. Okay, that's okay. All right. Gonna refine. Cool. Just testing out different techniques and stuff. So yeah, we are gonna dig in here and figure this out. Yo, Big Des, what's up, brother? Let's do this. Let's actually start on the Dagon stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I have Pure Ref up. We have all this up. Kike Kataki art. We have some of this art up. So I think we're actually fine with getting rid of some of these. Getting rid of that one. Getting rid of these. We can always bring back more sergeant stuff if we need. Yeah, we'll keep those. That's fine. So yeah, here's the axe. Here's the Koro's hand. Blood hand. What I want to do is get a decent looking head for a dragon. The only thing is, I don't paint a whole lot of dragons, which is ironic because one of my dream jobs is to work on Dungeons and Dragons, so if it's in the freaking name, I should probably know how to do it. I basically just put a monster head on the end of a tube to kind of block out where I want the dragon. But we need to find decent reference to be able to make Dagon and how his head is going to look. So there's a few people that I'm thinking I'm going to look at the way they do dragon art. And of course, one of ours is Greg Rutkowski. He actually has some decent I just said that, yeah, I'll take the dungeons. We'll leave the dragons to do what they will. But like, you see what I mean? Like really cool. So very sharp edges, very yeah, like very sharp stuff. It has the little like ear fin things. I don't know if I want to add that. Yeah, something like, he has amazing dragon art. Just really cool monsters, almost like alligators and crocodile type faces, and yeah, sort of like webby looking. That's cool. That is the trick about painting like things that don't exist. it can get sort of, it needs to be believable. We talk about that a lot. It doesn't have to be realistic. It just has to be believable. And I mean, I feel okay, but I wonder if I need to like make the eyes a little scarier. Instead of a circle, maybe the diamond shape. So yeah, let's figure out a decent design for Dagon's head. Let's start there, because I think that's a good place to go. And then also, we can brighten up some of the greens to really make that pop. Because what we're going to do, since we are kind of breaking the fourth wall now, what we're going to do is like, let's see. Oh, do that. Do this. Let's come over to platinum set. I always go back to my platinum set because it has every type of main brush that I need. It's just quick, very, very quick. So like, if we come color select here, and see, we're gonna kind of bridge that gap a little bit to really break that fourth wall. We're gonna find this. We're gonna darken it a little bit. We're gonna get a soft brush, and we are going to make a drop shadow across this. I need to go in a that way it's literally like coming off of the glass. Then we can do something like that. So that's whenever you kind of zoom out and you see it at card size, it really looks like that face is coming out. And the more detail we add, the more it's going to look like we're going to have that optical illusion, you know, which is really fun. It's a really fun thing to do. I always love doing that, trying to just find different ways to fool the eye. It's like those magic eyes. Something like that. And then here. A nice cast shadow. So maybe for the eyes, yeah, see, more of like a diamond shape. I think it'll make the eyes look a little more menacing. Just need to find good. Spaced out a little bit. He almost looks like a barking dog. Like, need to. Need to figure out that top design, you know? You know what I should look at? This freaking Monster Hunter art. You want to talk about some dragons, dude? Holy crap. So I actually really love let me bring, oh, let's do this one always on top. Bring this one over. Love that look. Monster Hunter Dragons. So I mean, you have like elder dragons, you have these giant beasts, you know? But when I think dragon, what do I think of? You know, I think that's part of it. Is it's a very dinosaur look. Yeah, like this sort of deal. Let's go, let's move this over. Yeah, that sort of like almost clumpy look near the head. I think that's really cool. There's like an actual dinosaur. There's some dinosaurs. Iguana. I remember fighting him. Yeah. So really it's just about finding some decent design sensibilities. So it looks like all of these have really sharp edges. That's a cool like saber-tooth look. Just really sharp. Let's see, that dragon's eyes are on the side. Oh, I see. So really Dagon's eyes need to be more... So if we have something like that. So it looks like those kind of overlap, that the eyebrow kind of comes over. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, I can see that that kind of eyebrow ridge looks like it connects like that, but then it kind of envelopes over like so. Yeah, and this looks like it's just straight back. Oh yeah, like it kind of is the eyebrow. So something like this, maybe? And then you can put a little bit of that detail in. But then it does arch back. This looks to have a lot more than just the one main horn though. Something like that, and then do we want kind of that, because it looks like all these dragons, especially the elder dragons, Monster Hunter, and even Greg Rakowski's, it's almost like their jaw has a little beard built onto it, like to really show this dominance of, yeah, so like, I know these aren't exactly dragons, but these kind of bigger designs. Oh no, these are just big bone jaws. That's cool. It's just about making all that stuff just look mean, man. Mean dragon. Wonder if something like that. That'll still come up. Okay. It's at times like this I wish I could actually wish I could 3D sculpt, because I think having a 3D sculpt of this would be pretty good. There we go. We'll just hide the old Wes Gardner logo. It's either that or we'll just move it. We can move it yeah, we can move it up here. That's fine. There we go. Because having a good 3D sculpt to see the forms of the head and that stuff is pretty nice to have. Especially when you're working with something that has to have a lot of structure for the mass, you know? It says I don't do a lot of animal anatomy. I don't really practice with animals all too much, so having limited knowledge in that makes creating animals pretty tricky. And that's why reference is so important, but you also don't want to design so much to a reference that you're just, you know, just copying an idea. Because it's like, people that would be into Varia will probably also be into things like Monster Hunter or Game of Thrones, and they know those dragons like the back of their hand, you know what I mean? So like, that's the last thing you want, is for them to be like, oh, so-and-so just copied, you know, whatever dragon from Game of Thrones. Yeah, so the Monster Hunter stuff is good. And then yeah, because they do the like the dragon designs and the design documents and stuff like that, which is awesome. And then you get like bone dragons. It's really creative stuff. It's just so out there. They have such a good understanding already of anatomy on these beasts. Another good dragon would be like, yeah, so here we go. Like, I know Yu-Gi-Oh has a whole lot of dragons as well. Here we go. So there we go. So maybe getting something like this. I know the angle's different, but now it's up to me to kind of juxtapose and put my dragon's face in with this type of face and light it from the old imagination. And I do think the form will really start picking up whenever we start adding different colors in there, because I'm staying very monochromatic right now. I'm staying really basic in regards to light, medium, dark, all the same kind of color green. So if we like came over here, I think the lighting is also going to help. It always helps form whenever you get decently lit stuff. Something like this. More narrow stuff. Looks like kind of the nostrils flare up, and then the nostrils are actually, yeah, the nostrils are actually the part that have the form of the jaws and the stuff like that. So really, it's just you need to make a mean looking dragon. You know, just at the end of the day, that's what we all want. I wonder, should I make... Should I make Dagon's horns, like, way bigger? Because you see, that's part of the daunting part of this dragon right here. So I wonder if I, like... That looks like a bull. Like looks like the Chicago Bulls. So maybe adding some like let's see. Like this. Over here a little bit. There we go. So, yeah. Wonder if I just need to make the mouth longer. I wonder if that's why right now it's still looks a little like a bull. let's see. What do we have over here for this one? Yeah, put more like odds and ends and blotches and stuff like that on this one. It was like this. I wonder if I would like our person to kind of be flying off the canvas maybe, or the glass, but I'll kind of put that in there. And then maybe a little bit of this glass on the, or a little bit of the blood on the glass shards. That'd be cool. That way you can sort of, we can use that blood to draw a little arrow, you know, to our axe and kind of get that attention in there. So this is only at half size right now. So if we go into 100%, this is what we're kind of looking at. So really what I need to do is I need to also pull up some other Varia art. Because I want to make sure that my art, I've already done 2 cards for Varia, and those are very finalized. But because we have so much going on, and I don't want to kind of overwhelm myself with too much to keep track of, I want to make sure that the focal points have the render quality of a finished card. The rest of it doesn't need it, I don't think. If I'm thinking about this right, and our main ideas like this, Koro, and then Child with a Wizard, those are the only things that need a lot of finish. Yeah, let me come over here. Varia card game goes straight to Guild House Games website. What's really cool is the actual web page. You can play some Varia stuff like demos and everything on the website, which is baller. It's really cool. I usually come at least once a week and just play a little round, you know. But if we go to here, we go to card image gallery. So you can see some really amazing art on these already. Really good artists. And so many different styles, but it all reads well. You know what I mean? So yeah, these all have a very nice finish to them. Look at that beheading right there. Yeah. It's dope. Let's see, what type of finish? Let's look at this one. That's really good. So let me bring this. Oh, what I might have to do. Over here. Copy. Paste. Okay. Same here. Copy. Paste. Let's do... I mean, all these are so good looking. Paste. This. So it is really important just to make sure everything reads very well as far as colors, and look at that. God, Laura's work so good. She has a ton of cards too. Super good. Like in my mind, whenever I think of Varia art, like just quality Varia art, hers is the first that comes up. It's just a very specific style, and I appreciate that a lot, you know. Paste. And just all of these are so good and so different, you know. And of course, Amada Wan, absolutely. Yep. Definitely going to be using that one as some reference. Paste. So this is really kind of the the job, you know. It's Folly. Ooh, actually, yeah. I'm gonna try to integrate this type of motif. So that is something that we can do, is kind of take a look, even if the other dragons are not Dagon, you know. Oh, there's Audie's card. Dude, Audie's dope. He was actually on the stream yesterday. He's a bud from Twitter. Like, his art is real good, dude. Oh man, Audie, the real MVP. Like, he's one of those that you got to chase after. He's one of those that, like, you see his work and you're like, I gotta top that. Are you kidding me? This, some of these. Joseph Kim work, beautiful. Cecilia, of course. Gorgeous stuff, man. These are cool. Take a look at this Dragonborn. Oh, he's more like a warrior, I see. Gotcha. Depleting stack. Part of the stack. T. Cool. Just really cool art. It's so rad to see all the art in the card game, you know? Oh, it's so cool. So yeah, this is the quality of finish. You know, these right here are the goals. You know, these are the... This is the render finish that we need to go for. And I do think something that reads really well, you'll see a lot of these colors are very bombastic in these cards. So the very bright, very rich colors. So that's really the one thing I need to do first, is start amping up the more saturation on colors, because everything right now it's a little flat color wise, but our main events should have some pops of that nice saturation. So I have this up. Everything needs to be fairly tight, which is doable. It's just I don't work very confidently. I'm not a super confident painter, meaning it's not like I have a vision in my head and it must come to fruition and I know exactly what to do to make it happen. I'm more of a, let's put stuff down on the canvas and start like pushing it around to see how it looks, you know. Oh yeah, see, that's a weird tangent. You know what we're gonna do? Completely get rid of this. And this one. Because that should work well, because here's a curve next to a lot of sharp edges. So there's contrast there. There's a difference. The contrast is anything that's different. And contrast, especially when it comes to card art like this, is your best friend. You want it to be high contrast. You want your main ideas to really pop more so than the rest of the other piece. Here, let me put that in. Oh, and you know what we could do? Put in like a little scar, and you put in like because scars are nice because they can follow the form of the shape. and give you even more information about what you're looking at, you know? So if that's right there. Yeah. All right. Now it's starting to look kind of like a mean dragon. There you go. There we go. A little bit of red, maybe. Ooh, maybe some red bloom around the eyes. And then some saturated orange. We got something like that. There we go. Hey, take it easy, brother. Thank you for hanging out, man. Very good to see you. And another thing we're going to do, we're going to add some berserkers up on the Koro side of this. So if I come over here, something a little like so. Got that. And then so it's almost like a Chinese dragon, really. Yeah, that's the weird thing, is like I want to get good render stuff, but I also don't want to just copy a dragon. Like I don't want to copy someone else's dragon. That's not my intent, you know? Let me come over here. Let me darken that a little bit, just to... kind of flatten that a little bit. That way it really sells home the head popping off the canvas right there. And then yeah, kind of the same thing here. We'll definitely dig in. We'll look at some of those Rakowski dragons. Where did I put all those? Oh, they're there. So yeah, I have my pure ref open here. I'm just gonna keep it over on this side, that way I can kind of make it a full screen and it's not blocking the actual art part. So let me kind of dig in over here. Yeah, let me come back to this one real quick. Move that mic a little bit. All right. Got a little over an hour left on stream. Today's kind of a quick one. I had to do some errands and grocery shopping and running around today. Let's see. If this comes over here, I see what I can do. I see what I can do. If I do more of these. More like the razor blade style things. And then over here, I can do something like this. That way we're getting a little bit, yeah. And you know what? I might actually scrap those horns because I think the horns are throwing off. Just doesn't look quite right, you know? And once again, like we said yesterday, don't be afraid to kill your darlings. Just to make the piece look better, to make it feel better. Do not be afraid to go in there and make things happen, you know? So we have this. So we're gonna add, I wonder if it'll be like, not curvy, but kind of had this motif of kind of the sharp razor blade looking. We can do a, maybe like eyebrow come up, come back over, and then something like that, and then over on this side. Something like that, maybe. And then if this is closer, so like, I don't know how I feel about what we could do. We do something like that. Make it look like Dagon's, that one of his horns is actually gone. We'll come and we'll do texture brushes and stuff in a minute just to kind of blend all this in, but I wonder if we get something like, so it looks like there's a lot of crags and canyons and like little nooks and crannies inside of this. So yeah, we just kind of have a little bit of texture. Now this is the type of thing to where what I would do is actually go and get like some royalty-free like stock photo stuff of, let's say, alligators, crocodiles, maybe an iguana, to get those scales and stuff to look right, to get that nice dragon look. That shouldn't be like that. That needs to be... There we go. So something like this is still not... It's better than what it was for sure, but it's still not kind of where we want it. That's okay. Yeah, it at least looks... It looks better than what we had, for sure. So what we need to do is go and match this design motif with the other head of Dagon. That way you can tell that this is one of Dagon's heads. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Yeah, you know what? Okay, I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see something. It is very, it's funny, it is very like Chinese New Year dragon, lunar dragon type stuff. But I think that's kind of cool. Like, you know, it's just neat. Maybe I'll shorten this like that. Like this is showing over here. So like, yeah, if that plane is catching right there, it's catching that light, this light, then so yeah, we're getting closer to a design. It's still not where we want it. I think whenever it's one of those things that whenever you get it, you're like, oh, there it is. But we're not there yet, but we are making progress in the right direction. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna soften that a little bit. That way this can stay really sharp. Actually, let me bring those lines over here a little more. There we go. There we go. Something like that. Not that big, but okay. me here. That. Okay. Right. In there. Now we can come in and get our warrior looking okay. That arm comes over. Get the so something like this right here. So now, yeah, we're gonna go in. We are gonna kind of start rendering out our hero, but what's cool is let's actually get our soft round brush, get that dark color, because I think to really sell this idea of kind of a shatter, not only are we going to have parts of the piece stick out from the glass like this, you know, like this one is right here, I think we should have some of the glass be over some of the other glass. So like this glass right here, you know, something like this. Same thing here. That glass is over, kind of casting a shadow. Now it's very important that we keep the same kind of light source. So if the light is coming and hitting Dagon from, I guess, the upper right pointing to the lower left, we're gonna keep that as our lighting for all of them. So I think that is going to be, you see what I mean? Like, that's probably going to be our lighting for this whole thing. So like a great example of how we can do that. Do that, and then you can do like 20% opacity, like right here, right? Same thing over here, like 20% opacity. 20% opacity to kind of bring this and elongate this out a little bit. Same thing here. Same thing there. So what this is really going to do is drive that separation of the planes. And I think that's going to give us a really cool, yeah, like look at that. Like a really neat kind of shadowed look. So yeah, I think there's something to that, because that is going to show that depth. And I think Anthony figuring that out, super smart idea. Yeah, and like, like that. Then let's actually bring that up to 100% opacity. Let's do hard round. We're gonna still make sure that these edges are super sharp though. That's the one thing about using, about using soft round brush is it does such a great job of softening edges, but you have to go back over it almost and like, you know what I mean? Like hits things like that. Yeah. So this is gonna have that really nice shattered glass look, I think. And like up here, same thing right here. Yeah, see, so you do that little bit of contrast and it goes a long way. Like, look at that. Like, that's already looking pretty dope. Yeah, like the more I get into rendering that type of stuff, the more excited I get, which is kind of where you want to be whenever you're doing a, you know, a client piece. Is the more you work on it, the better it gets, and the more excited you get, and like, yeah, it's a good place to be in. So yeah, like. And like we talked about before, this is where it comes out just organically. And this is why it's so important to have a good art director, is they will see things like this and be like, hey, let's embrace it. Let's go for it. And I think that's, yeah. It's so funny how like one little line can be the thing. It's like, look at that. That's dope. I'm not gonna lie, man, that's pretty dope. I like that a lot. Oh. Huh. Who knew that this would actually work, right? Who knew that this was a thing that could happen? Oh, that's funny. So yeah, now what we can do, like, so I'm feeling okay about this. I still am definitely gonna refine more of the person, the other Dagon head and stuff, but like, I'm glad to know that this idea is actually working. Now I think it's time to make our executioner blood god look pretty dope. But I will be right back in just a moment. I'm gonna grab a snack. Yeah. All right. I don't want to chew in the mic. So for our blood god, we should probably look at some really kind of dark, dingy, like, you know, Grim Reaper, old school, gothic art. Let's look at take a look at some Bloodborne. I like the vibe. I like the, yeah, like this sort of, actually, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see. Actually, I think we're good right here. So if we get those, let's once again separate these three, kind of have them on their own thing. That like crazy gothic fantasy art, you know. Let's see. I think my dog's about to go crazy, so I'll let her out real quick. Boom. Never mind, it just started raining, and she hates the rain. So yeah, we need the blood god to let's take a look at executioner. See, because this is the type of vibe that I was thinking, but almost like a mix of this and like the scarecrow. Okay, so that's cool. I mean, you have that, but then also like Scarecrow from Batman Begins, and just more like drapery and it's true to put like nails all over somebody. There we go. Like, yeah, might as well use that one. So that's kind of the vibe we already have anyway. And then Yeah, this sort of like crazy bag over the face look. And then like there we go. Have that. Have these. Yeah. That sort of nice drapery right there. So see, I like that overbrow look. So you can like that. You know, more angled. That comes more here. We're gonna kind of get rid of that. So if we have this. Yeah, it's almost like a Cthulhu monster. Like, it's pretty dope, not gonna lie. So we want to make sure it stays grungy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to render out a little bit with the hard round brush. And then I'm going to come in with our textured brushes and really start going to town. You know, something like that. And then we'll make it real black. Normally I stay away from pure black, but I think for this, it'll work okay. See how nice it has like a... Looks like it has a nice render coming out of it. Like nice shadows falling and stuff like that. So we'll stay that way. Looks like a superhero villain. I mean, technically it is, right? We have that. So we do have this kind of coming down, you know, and then it just kind of drapes over. Get rid of that. Really sharp look right there. Almost looks like a ninja action figure, which is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, that's cool. And then yeah, we have that nice glass piece in front. So if we do that, and then that comes back. It's a little too harsh, I think. Let me get that. There we go. Yeah. We'll do those. Got this. Gotcha. This. Yeah. There. Yeah, it almost looks like a Cthulhu monster. Which I guess makes sense for a god, right? If we come over here. And remember, we do have his hand logo, Koro's sort of like hand emblem. To really kind of spruce this bad boy up. Making him buff. Super buff. Look at this. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Here's another one. So now we're having this nice, has that really cool shattered glass look. And let me add some like torn details a little bit to this hood. Make a little more kind of disheveled. And like yeah, now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. That's cool. Okay. And then since we know that light's coming from this way, there we go. So now it's really about coming and refining this sort of cloth look. over here. Let's keep that. I like that separation. I think that looks pretty cool. And then, yeah. Something like this. So yeah, we're still kind of working in the general flat colors. I think adding, you know, some color pops will be near the very, very end, right before we do kind of final render pass. Actually, let me get that. Catches that light. And then that's good because then we can do more of the shadow like that. And then this one. Right. Cool. But yeah, it's starting to work. I think we're getting to a pretty decent spot to where this is really starting to read pretty well. I think what really helps it along is the white lines on it, like in between pieces of glass that we have, to really kind of bring that three-dimensional aspect to that. Yeah. Another little bit of kind of shadow passing a little bit. Seeing how we can really kind of pump up that contrast, you know? And then what we can even do, because see how we did the brightness contrast here? We can do that, but what we can also do, this is a nice little tip, because I'll stream for about another 10 minutes. A fun little tip, if you have Photoshop or any visual arts program that allows you to use what's called a lookup table, I highly suggest you do that. So what a lookup table is it is a color spectrum usually used in post-processing for film. So doing photography, and especially movies, do a lot of lookup tables as far as their color ranges and color value. So we're gonna add